Force Gaming. The Palworld lawsuit is worse than you think. All right. I've been seeing a lot of the Palworld, the Pokemon is suing Palworld, and I need to be informed because I love both of these franchises. One of them has a lot more potential than the other. Let's get into it. As I say at the start of every video, like and subscribe. I upload videos every day, and I appreciate every single one of you that watches. Let's 1.25 this real quick. All right, let's get into it.
Not sure I'm gonna be... Hey, fair warning, not sure I'm gonna be able to keep it together for this one. Yeah, okay, so here's the story. Nintendo just
What do you mean by that?
filed a patent infringement lawsuit in Japan.
Isn't the patent, he'll probably tell me later, but isn't the patent like throwing an orb and catching a creature?
Against Palworld developer Pocket Pair. They released a public statement announcing this suit on Wednesday, which said Nintendo, together with the Pokemon Company, filed a patent infringement lawsuit in the Tokyo District Court against Pocket Pair on September 18th, 2024. This lawsuit seeks an injunction against infringement and compensation for damages on the grounds that Palworld, a game developed and released by the defendant, infringes multiple patent rights.
Maybe they would have more ground to stand on if this was made before Palworld's release. Would it? Maybe. I think it might have a better case if it was. But right now it just seems like a response to just get rid of competition, which Pokemon currently has none besides Palworld.
Nintendo will continue to take necessary actions against any infringements of its intellectual property rights, including the Nintendo brand itself, to protect the intellectual properties it has worked hard for to establish over the years. So the first thing to make clear here is that Nintendo is suing specifically for patent infringement and not copyright infringement.
Yeah, I've seen the argument for the copyright infringement of like ripped models. I have, but I think there's a few, like the Anubis, and what's the one that looks like Luxray? There's two that like looked like big ones, but I think they're different enough to where it will count as transformative. So I just don't think personally those would hold. But I think suing over copyright would be an easier dunk than patent, would it not? Because you know Nintendo's done a fair few things in their mainline games to have copied other franchises. So I don't know like how serious this needs to be.
What that means is that they aren't suing Palworld because, let's say, the Palworld creatures look awfully similar to Pokemon creatures. You might remember when Palworld first got popular, this was a big point of discussion, with many people even theorizing that some pals were directly ripping Pokemon models and then being slightly altered for their game. Now, even if we think that's true, that isn't what this lawsuit is about. And trust me, if Nintendo could sue for that, they would. Absolutely.
Exactly. Because wasn't there, didn't they easily take down some Pokemon fan games for some shit recently?
If they had even the tiniest shred of evidence that Pocket Pair stole and ripped off Pokemon character models, they would sue them into oblivion. And you know what? That would be reasonable. You can't...
Yeah, I think that would be more reasonable. But patent infringement seems like a very, like... gosh, what's the sports term? Hail Mary? A Hail Mary attempt?
Steal code or directly rip someone's assets for your own IP. I mean, you can do that, but you can't do it without expecting consequences. But again, that's not what's happening here. Looking fairly similar isn't enough, which is exactly why Nintendo hasn't sued for copyright infringement. No, they are suing for infringements on patents related to Pokemon. Or in other words, they're suing because they believe there are mechanics, systems, or features from Pokemon games that Nintendo has patented and claim ownership of that are similar to the ones being used in Palworld. Now, at this point, you might be asking yourself, can you patent game mechanics and systems?
Can you?
Yes. Yes, you can.
But how specific does that game mechanic have to be? Because I feel like throwing an orb or a spherical object, if we're going to get sciencey, is and catching a monster is fairly specific, but I don't know if that has any ground to stand on. I feel like a lot of games do that. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking on my ass.
It's about as stupid as it sounds. It is one of the most frustrating things to me in this industry because you will...
Yeah, that is frustrating. Oh yeah, Arc would have to get rid of cryopods. That's a really big example. Arc would just have to straight get rid of those because, oh, Nintendo. Nintendo patent. Dude, imagine if Assassin's Creed went after Nintendo for the Breath of the Wild, for the tower mechanic of like going up into a tower, then your map gets unlocked and now you got a fast travel point. Assassin's Creed, get on that shit. If we want to start playing fucking dirty, then I guess we can.
Get these games with really cool ideas or features, hats off to the people who make them, but then no one else can use them for 20 years, all thanks to patents. It stifles creativity, it stifles the evolution of genres, and
what are some video game patents? Let's see. I need examples. 5 famous examples. Landlord's Game Monopoly, a looping track. Is that really? Aero nav systems? Holy fuck. Telling you where the car to go. You're 2 years later. Holy fuck. Loading screen mini games. Dialogue wheel. The Tilt Art Katamari. What is that? Oh, that's a lot of words and no pictures. That is fucked up, dude. The dialogue wheel. Damn.
legitimately holds back game development. It just makes
I agree. I think I agree.
gaming as a whole worse. We get worse games because of these patents, or we don't get games that are as good as they could be. Without question, we have seen less innovation and growth in games in this hobby, all due to patents. Here's a
Dude, how crazy would it be? Because of that driving one, like some Mario Kart, right? Or Fortnite, the Fortnite dash or whatever. If we had like a an arrow to say, hey, which way we need to go. If the tracks weren't like the Fortnite one, not a super good example because the tracks are super linear, but like Mario Kart, I think would be a good one.
few examples, some well-known things off the top of my mind. Not really, I've written them down, but
I guess I shouldn't have researched because he'll just do it for himself.
okay. So the first one that particularly pisses me off is Warner Brothers' patent for the Nemesis system from Shadow of Mordor. If you don't know, in that game, you would regularly come in conflict with these unique named enemies over and over again. So you would fight someone with the name, I don't know, Gorthar the Destroyer. And then whatever the outcome of the fight, whether you won, whether you lost, whether you ran away, eventually later on in the game, you could bump into them again. And in that next encounter, Gorthar would remember what happened and comment on what occurred, saying something like, hey, you're gonna run away from me again? And then on top of that, though, they would evolve, getting stronger or weaker, climbing
That's a fucking patent, dude. That's such a good mechanic.
up in the ranks or being demoted, all based on what occurred in your
How much you bet they took like the easy way of this and didn't like make it super in depth? Maybe it's just a thing to get rid of competition to see if other game companies can do it better.
previous fight with them. And this would keep happening over and over and over again, getting more layers, deeper interaction and history between the characters, and then these nemesis creatures fighting other characters and then getting stuff based on that. It was just a super cool system, a lot of fun to engage with, and it added a whole heck of a lot of drama and personality to what would
Yeah, and that's exciting. That's an exciting thing.
otherwise just be fighting forgettable mini bosses or elite.
Yeah, nobody wants that. I'd rather have people that come back and are ready to kick my... Like, I'd rather have a Pokemon rival than just another troll from God of War, right? For example. Like, someone I got personal beef with. That's 10 times more interesting than just some random fucking guy that pulled up.
In many other games. This Nemesis system was so awesome. Myself and a lot of people really, really liked it. However, it hasn't been used in any other game franchise since. Not because it wasn't good, but because Warner Brothers had patented it. So unless they happen to make another game that uses the Nemesis system, which they have not beyond the Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor games, we are not going to see
Wow. That is a slept on thing. That could be so fucking good.
any other game that has it until their patent runs out in 2035. Yes, we've got
10 more years, baby. 11 more years.
another 11 years of waiting. Actually, I don't even know if a game can start development using that system until after the patent runs
Can it?
out. So in which case, we might be waiting until 2040 before we see another game that has a Nemesis-like system. Thanks a lot, Warner Brothers. Really appreciate it. And what is so
Ass hat.
frustrating about this, like I said, is that it really stifles growth and innovation in gaming. Because yes, the Nemesis system was amazing. Like, hats off to the Shadow of Mordor developer,
Yeah,
Monolith.
but I guarantee you there's room for improvement. But were they afraid of improvement and just trying to like sweep it on the rug that they half-assed it, that it could have been better? Maybe just snuff out competition in it, so you can only get your shtick for the Nemesis stuff here.
they made a phenomenal system
Or unless you play a Resident Evil game, the Nemesis is fucking everywhere. Or Overwatch and Ramatra, if we're talking Nemesis. Nemesis.
that really elevated the open world experience. It just made it so much more interesting coming across these difficult encounters, these nemesis, and having these layers and depth and history and backstory just based on what you did with them in the game. It was so cool. But now it's been 10 years since the initial release of Shadow of Mordor, and in an alternate timeline, we could have had many other games using even better, more evolved.
That's like the Telltale games. Oh, that'd be fucking crazy.
And improved versions of that system.
That would be fucking crazy.
In fact, I'll just say it plainly. Many open world games would have been better.
What would have been better? Let me think. Let me cook. Maybe Palworld would have been good with it. With the bosses. Or hell, Pokemon probably would have done better with that type of shit. Holy fuck. Pokemon would do great with that type of stuff.
Without question, if they could have implemented some variation of the Nemesis system. But they didn't, because in this timeline, in reality, thanks to Warner Bros. Patent, it hasn't and it will not happen for at least another 11 years. Now, I will add a note here. With patents like this, we could technically see other games use these things, but in actuality...
But it has to be a Warner Brothers game, does it not?
Never happens, because if another game developer wanted to have something like that in their game, they would have to pay Warner Bros. A licensing fee, and that fee would likely cost a ton of money. So, as a result...
Yeah, probably so. Probably just not worth it at that point.
So they just don't bother. And that's the thing. The result is we don't get to play any more games with the Nemesis system until after 2035, or if Warner Bros. Eventually gets around to making more games.
Well, if they haven't done it in 10 fucking years, then I don't think they're putting that shit in multiverses, dog.
With it. I think they have a Wonder Woman game that's supposedly going to be implementing it, I believe.
Cool. Let's get into it.
If I'm recalling correctly, we've only had 2 in the past decade, and we could have had a whole lot more. And if you haven't played the game, you might not fully understand, but this is, I think, a perfect example of a patent stifling the industry. Oh.
Yeah, like an example like this, like that is some big shit. That could do story games like so much better. But unfortunately, we're kind of stuck in the point where you just can't do it.
Open world games, having the inclusion of Nemesis systems would add a lot more to so many games that are out there right now. And that one's really personal to me for that reason, because I played Shadow of Mordor and was blown away by the system when I first encountered it. And at the time I thought, wow.
Yeah, I mean, if other game studios got to use it, we could see this good system polished off even better.
Wow, this is a great mechanic. Open world games are going to be so...
Imagine if Sonic games had this.
Much better and evolving and improving on this in the future, but nope, that's not what happened. There's plenty of other patents that I feel have held back gaming as well. Another good example is the Bandai Namco patent on loading screen minigames. So for...
Yeah, dude, give me something to do. Like, the only there's 2 memorable loading screens that I can think of off the top of my head. And it's God of War, the new ones that have like the tooltips that you can crunch through, or Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Because they had little animations of like all the divine beasts or the sages in their respective games, and then your rupee count. That seemed a little bit interactive, and then you had tooltips that you could go through. Those are the only 2 I think I could think of off the top of my head that are really good loading screens. Oh, and then Tears of the Kingdom had like you zoom out on your map where you were and then zoom back in where you were going. So like that was cool too.
A lot of years, loading screens were a pretty big issue, something we had to deal with, especially back in the 90s. You would often have these games with loading screens that took a full minute or even multiple minutes of waiting before you could get back to playing. For the most part, this just meant staring at a progress bar, maybe getting some concept art, some tips on the screen. Usually it meant going up to get a drink or go to the bathroom. But then in 1995, Bandai Namco, they had this great idea. What if they offered mini games that you could play while you waited for the main game to load? And that was pretty cool. They did this with their game Ridge Racer as well as Tekken 5. Those are 2 most notable ones. Unfortunately, though, they also patented this idea of what they called auxiliary games while waiting for the main game. And
dude, some games would benefit greatly. Like, I mentioned Breath of the Wild and God of War. Those don't have real loading screens. They kind of have like fast travel. Like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom have the fast travel, right? But God of War doesn't have any loading screens. It's just when like you die. But like Elden Ring, that type of stuff, Elden Ring would benefit. Elden Ring would totally benefit from something like that. But I don't see FromSoft doing something like that, though, to be fair.
So we never saw it again. This patent did happen to expire in 2015, but by that point, most games no longer had multi-minute loading screens, so there wasn't much...
Yeah, so there's not much use for modern games to really have it.
Use case for it any longer, but there was an entire 20-year period where it would have been...
Yes, it would have been so good to have.
awesome to have mini games in our loading screens for many different
If only.
games beyond Bandai Namco owned ones, but we didn't thanks to Bandai Namco's patent. Here's a few others quickly. BioWare had a patent of the dialogue wheel with the
I remember the fucking dialogue wheel. I feel like games like Destiny would do really good with the dialogue wheel. Destiny 2.
cardinal directions of a wheel representing certain sentiments or regular responses. Sega's patent of the arrow over vehicle navigation system.
This would be so good for something like fucking Mario Kart. Just saying.
From Crazy Taxi, which Sega then used to sue Fox over, as they had a similar mechanic in the Simpsons driving game. Katamari has a patent for its whole shtick, which is rolling an object around that picks up other objects in the environment, growing ever bigger in the process.
I've seen mobile games like this shit. But I guess it's just like a black hole, so it doesn't really count. Or it's just an orb.
If you wondered why we never saw more games like it, it's because of the patent. Bloober Team had a patent for playing in 2 alternate versions of the same space simultaneously on a split screen, which is a mechanic they used in the game.
Wait, what?
Why we never saw more games like it? It's because of the patent. Bloober Team had a patent for playing in 2 alternate versions of the same space simultaneously on a split screen, which is a mechanic they used in the game The Medium. And then Nintendo also even had the Sanity System patent all the way back for Eternal Darkness, although that one was evidently
Sanity.
specific enough that many other games have released with similar systems, but not exactly the same. But back to
I had no idea the Sanity System or whatever the fuck. But the alternate dimension one seems like a cool idea. I feel like I've seen it before, but for split screen co-op, then no. But for like a single person experience, then yeah, I think I've seen it before.
Nintendo suing Pocket Pair over Palworld. Let's dive into that a little further. So right now,
please,
we don't actually know exactly, and apparently Pocket Pair, they don't know either, exactly which patents Nintendo are suing for. They have said that there are multiple patents being infringed upon, but haven't clarified exactly what ones. Now, Nintendo has quite a few Pokemon-related patents listed. Broadly speaking, these things cover the following: throwing a ball to capture weakened creatures, and then throwing that ball again after capture to release them under your control.
That is a very... I wonder how widespread, because like Palworld is the same shit. Sure. I wonder if this is going to be specific enough for them to like get the patent. Because like Arc would have to get rid of cryopods, and cryopods are a massive part of Arc system. I don't know. I don't like this. It seems
summoning and riding a creature you've captured via...
Oh, bullshit, dude. Pokemon barely fucking does that. Dude, come on. That is so fucking stupid. That is so fucking stupid.
The aforementioned ball system, actively swapping mounts while riding them, storing captured creatures inside of a ball and or a terminal-like system. And how about...
That is so... These are vague enough, but specific enough, I think.
This one, encouraging healthy sleeping habits by tending to captured creatures in their
short time
game. I am not joking. They have a patent for encouraging healthy sleeping habits. Now, those are the dumbed down, simplified explanations.
Sure, they're dumbed down, but like, if I was a lawyer and the massive monster Nintendo came to me and say, all right, I need to patent a few things. Like, to me, like, if they aren't super specific, but they're not super vague either. So I don't know if something like that would pass. But also, I'm not a legal guy, so I don't know. I don't want it to pass because I want Palworld to succeed. Because Pokemon needs to get their head out of their ass and do something fucking good. Because the last good thing they did was Legends Arceus, and that was half-baked at best. I want a good fucking game. Listen, man, they would make so much money off of a Pokemon Odyssey type of deal. You know, go across all the regions, become the real Pokemon master. You want people to play your fucking game? Oh, trust me, bro. People will play your fucking game. So you don't have to worry about online trading. You just go to the region and find the Pokemon itself.
Of these patents. The fact is, every single one of these has very specific language with fine details on a $5.
Hey, at least I support the OG content by watching the ads. I'll never get over that fucking silly comment. Dude, speaking of comment, I got a fucking, like, black tipster comment on a fucking, on a video I made about people that, like, fell off or something. He's like, bless up, I wasn't on that list. I was like, I know it's a fake account, but like, dude, imagine if fucking Tipster saw that. Holy fuck. Dude, Tipster be watching everything, don't he? Dude, I'll say his name 3 times, he'll show up, I swear.
How those
Not the tip.
systems are implemented, with minutia like exactly how is a ball thrown that captures a creature? How many shakes does the ball do in an attempt to capture said creature? The specific method of
See, but now it's starting to get super, super specific. And that's where I'm like, but I don't know how patents work. So I don't know if things have to be super specific.
riding and swapping your captured creatures, and what specific ways does the game promote healthy sleeping habits? So for example, in the patent that they have for, quotes, the gamification of health awareness,
I think, would this stand more ground? I wonder if this had other grounds to stand on if Palworld didn't come out. If they made this before Palworld. Because clearly, to me, this seems like retaliation for competition. Clearly. Because, like, this snuffs out competition. 100%.
Always forget, you go to work at 3 or 3:30?
3:30.
Okay, because I'm going to need to leave, but I'll wait until you...
But I leave at 3.
I know. Okay, I'm trying to think if I can wait that late. I think I probably can.
Okay. All right.
awareness based on wake up time. It reads like this. An object is to provide a user with motivation to enjoy waking up in the morning and guide the user to sufficient awakening by generating a breeding event in a breeding game of a virtual life form when the user wakes up in the morning, and it goes on from there. But yes, broadly speaking, that list of things are some of the stuff that Nintendo has Pokemon patents for. They're just a few examples. They have many, many more patents pertinent specifically to Pokemon. Now, as of now, we just don't know which combinations of these patents Nintendo is claiming have been infringed. And as I mentioned, Palworld developer Pocket Pair, they don't know either. According to them, they've not yet been told. They actually released an official statement via Twitter in regards to the suit, and it says, regarding the lawsuit,
He's going to read it out for me.
yesterday, a lawsuit was filed against our company for patent infringement. We have received notice of this lawsuit and will begin the appropriate legal proceedings and investigations into the claims of patent infringement. At this moment, we are unaware of the specific patents we are accused of infringing upon, and we have not yet been notified of such details. Pocket Pair.
I will say I am a big fan of Pocket Pair and how like their dev team runs. I remember when it came out, I was like, "Oh, the game's dead." After a month, it's like, and then they're like, "Yeah, we don't expect you to come back and play our fucking game every day. Come back when it's like fully done and fully out of the oven." I was like, "Dude, you guys are fucking incredible. I love you. Y'all are cool like that."
Is a small indie game company based in Tokyo. Our goal as a company has always been to create fun games. We will continue to pursue this goal because we know that our games bring joy to millions of gamers around.
Oh yeah, no, this is like what Pokemon should be, you know, minus the guns. But that's neither here nor there. This is what Pokemon should be. Pokemon should do this. This will make you money. This will have people wanting Pokemon games, but this Pokemon slop that you put out every year is fucking doo-doo. Like, Scarlet and Violet was the only games I gave up my starter. I stopped using my starter. And I can't say that about any other Pokemon game. I have not done that for any other generation. To me, that's a crazy thing to do.
Around the world. Palworld was a surprise success this year, both for gamers and for us. We were blown away by the amazing response to the game and have been working hard to make it.
I remember seeing Palworld on Steam wishlist back in like 2020 or 2021, 2022, a few years ago. I was so excited for it, and I was so glad it fucking released.
Been better for our fans. We will continue improving Palworld and strive to create a game that our fans can be proud of. It is truly unfortunate that we will be forced to allocate significant time and matters unrelated to game development due to this lawsuit. However, we will do our utmost for our fans and to ensure that indie game developers are not hindered or discouraged from pursuing their creative ideas.
True.
Apologize to our fans. As always, thank you. It goes on. And that last bit is, I think, really the rub. It's so frustrating on so many levels. In terms of this lawsuit and the potential outcome, right? Well, if they don't settle out of court, odds are Pocket Pair will be required to make adjustments to whatever systems or mechanics are found to infringe upon Nintendo's patents. And then...
Yep, unfortunately. Again, as you said, hindering creativity. It's a big thing.
After that, they will probably also have to pay some sort of fee or fine to Nintendo. Either way, Nintendo is going to cost Pocket Pair a good chunk of money, whether that's just the cost of having to go through a lawsuit, even if they are found not guilty of infringement, or if they are found guilty of infringement, having to then pay Nintendo directly.
I mean, listen, I don't see... This sounds pretty doomer to me. Nintendo's got money out the wazoo I don't see Pocket Pair winning, unfortunately, just from money alone. Because Nintendo, I feel like, can afford to go to court and keep it running for as long as they want. I just don't see Pocket Pair winning this, and that's so sad because I want them to succeed.
The game is not going to shut down. Well, I guess it could if
Yeah, I probably could. I wonder if a game infringes on a patent and it's already alive, like the game's already out and open. I wonder if they're gonna be forced to like close. I don't know. If a game, well, let's do AI. Let's do OpenAI. What does OpenAI have to say? ChatGPT. Try ChatGPT. Should be signed in. Stay logged out. If a game and if game one infringes on a patent made by game 2, would game 1 have to shut down until game 1 fixes the infringement. Let's see. Let's take this with a grain of salt. If game 1 infringes on a patent held by game 2, the outcome depends on several factors, including the severity of infringement, sure, the patent holder response, and any legal agreements in place, sure. Typically, the patent holder would have to send a cease and desist letter, which game 1 might have to halt distribution. Oh, so distribution will have to be halted, not, okay. Game 2 decides to pursue legal action. Game 1 could face a lawsuit, potentially leading to an injunction, which require them to stop selling or distributing the game until the infringement is addressed. So there's a chance that it had to close down until things get solved, I assume, right? Specifics would ultimately determine, okay, terminate in court. And take it with a grain of salt because it is just AI, but I'm good enough for that answer.
Nintendo bleeds Pocket Pair dry enough of money that they go out of business, in which case the game could probably shut down. And all of this in the name of some flippin' patents on game mechanics.
Yeah, patents on game mechanics. Listen, even just from this video, because I am not well informed at all, I've already made my statement. Dude, patents, boo. Boo.
Honestly, this entire situation, it's crap. Unless Nintendo has like some proof that Pocket Pair stole and copy-pasted source code from Pokemon games to use in Palworld, if that's the case, I totally understand.
Yeah, if that's the case, then fucking do it. If Pocket Pair took fucking Pokemon assets straight up, do it. Fucking do it. Then Pocket Pair's in the wrong. But clearly, to me, that they don't seem to be, because nothing's proven yet about it.
But the idea that they're suing the devs because the games have similar mechanics like capturing monsters in a ball or incentivizing healthy sleeping habits, like it's all garbage, man. Patents over basic game mechanics and systems are dumb and they shouldn't be a thing as far as I'm concerned. I am no legal expert. This is completely out of my depth, but just the basis of it is so frustrating to me. And I also want to make it—
Yes, it is very frustrating because this game felt like such a breath of fresh air that I haven't felt in Pokemon in such a long time. I'll say this again about Pokemon. I feel that the Ultra games, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, was the last time Pokemon actually cared about their fucking product. The last time they put actual blood, sweat, and tears into it. Because that game felt like it was fucking cared about. That game felt like they put some fucking effort into it. But I can't say that. I can't say that about these previous generations. About like Gen 8 and 9. I can't say that. I just can't. Those two, maybe in like the DLCs, there's maybe a bit more love, maybe, but I certainly don't feel it. I just don't think that these games are just money-making games. Gen 9 is so poorly fucking made, and I haven't played the DLCs, so take what I say with a grain of salt on that one. But base game Gen 9, holy fuck. Holy fuck. You're telling me you couldn't do fucking a, gosh, what I'm looking for. You can't make a fucking game where the world scales with you. So it's either you do the gyms in the order that the game tells you to do, or you might just pull up to a gym that's level 65. That is fucking stupid. That is so stupid and fucking lazy. You guys are the richest one of the richest companies in the world, and you can't fucking do this shit? Oh, come the fuck on. No, credit where credit's due. You updated some models. Some models, like Blastoise, looks 10 times better. But holy fuck, man. And you're telling me you guys don't have the manpower to do animations for specific moves? I don't fucking believe you. I don't believe you. You guys have all the money in the world to do this shit, but you don't. That's lazy. Lazy. Now I can get it for an indie dev not being able to do that. Sure. That's a pass. But these things actually feel real, unlike the inflatable 3D models. Granted, Gen 9 did it a little bit better, but like from Gen 6 through Gen 8, they just seemed like inflatables. Because like, look at the sprites of Gen 5. There's a bit of life to it. You know, I've seen memes of like, and edits of Blaster playing the piano in Gen 9, Gen 8, Gen 5. So I'm fucking everywhere. But it's frustrating. It's so frustrating for what Nintendo's doing. Just make a game that everybody would like. Listen, that fucking Pokemon Odyssey would sell. You see how popular fucking Poke MMO is? They don't even have, it's up to Gen 5, and it's super, super popular, and you wonder why. And go everywhere. And you want more playtime in your games? Make something where everyone can travel to any region. Clearly you have 8, 9, and 1 ready, because those have been on the Switch and so on and so forth. Oh, and 4. That's nearly half. You can't convince me that. Silly. It's so silly. Sorry for my gamer tangent, but holy fuck.
Clear, I am in full support of companies protecting their brand and protecting their IP. If someone,
yeah, of course, if someone fucks up your shit, then, you know, do your part and, you know, fuck them right back.
Is straight ripping Pokemon code, changing the colors and slapping a new name on the game, that's one thing, but putting patents on ideas for systems and features, it's just bad. It sucks now.
Yes, that sucks.
Now it's always
that gets rid of competition, and competition is good for innovation.
Sucked, especially when it comes to this point where we are seeing lawsuits. It is bad for game developers, and it's bad for us, the gamers. This stifles creativity. It prevents more games from not just having similar systems, but then improving on them, adding to them.
Yes, because God, Pokemon needs fucking competition, dude. They've sit at the top for too fucking long.
Them and making better games as a result. And Nintendo,
they've become stagnant and they've become comfortable. They don't have to try anymore to make fucking money.
Coming out and suing Pocket Pair, this is the kind of show of force that will likely prevent other developers from trying to make games that are similar in that monster capture genre. Indie devs,
yeah, and monster capture I think is like a pretty fun thing.
They don't want to risk getting sued by Nintendo. Like, are you kidding me? So the end result is many won't bother. They won't try to make a game that innovates and expands upon Pokemon's shortcomings. They'll just do something else entirely. Now, I do realize as well, there's still a lot we don't know, and there's definitely...
Yes, and this is, we're kind of like shooting in the dark right now because of it, unfortunately.
Without question, a lot of nuance here. Other monster capture games do in fact exist that Nintendo hasn't sued for patent infringement, and we don't...
Yeah, but this is the biggest one that serves as competition. The other ones just are a fart in the wind to them, probably.
Don't know yet exactly what Nintendo is suing for. They haven't specified. We see their patents. We know they're suing because they think multiple patents have been infringed. They just haven't said what ones. So the patents that have been infringed upon, how they were infringed, exactly how closely are Palworld's mechanics similar to that of Pokemon's, all of that will come out during the process of this lawsuit, assuming it all goes public.
I hope it goes fucking public, dude.
Still though, like the Nintendo story specifics aside, generally speaking, I dislike this practice and what it does to gaming. The Warner
Yes, this is probably a net negative.
Bros patent on the Nemesis system is the one that tilts me in particular. I think a lot of my vigor in this video is like suppressed anger over that. The fact that more games don't have, every open world game should have a Nemesis system, and they would all...
Yeah, and a lot of them would benefit. A lot of them would benefit.
Will be better because of it. It's a blanket statement, but honestly, man, it just tilts me.
I agree.
So much.
No, I agree, and I was getting a little tilted because Pokemon as a company is just so fucking lazy as of the last few years.
So damn cool, and they made
last 10 years maybe
pretty much zero use of it over this past decade, all because they have a patent. They're not making other games, and no one else can do it either. So I guess we'll just get to experience games with Nemesis systems sometime after 2035.
And so for another company just patent it too, and then so they don't have to do nothing with it.
Still alive, looking forward to it. I just hate it so much, dude. I hate this so much, honestly. It makes gaming worse. No thanks.
Yes, it does. Go to Video Force Gaming. I like you. You're cool. Like Nintendo suing the country of Italy because people are calling Mario and Luigi in it. Dude, true. Create a patent for the progression of a character by gaining experience, which is subsequently leading to level up and see half of the RPGs in existence. Sure. Good video, Force Gaming. Thanks for filling me in. Like and sub.